Hey folks, and all be all here, and I am back from vacation. Thought I've missed quite a few commentary battles over the last couple of weeks, so I thought I'll just pop in after my vacations and give one final battle before the end of the 5v5 season and before we head on to 3v3 with JMK and CAT, which is going to be interesting. So let me give a quick recap of this week because I don't think I gave commentary for this week. My first opponent was Anton Ryder, um, which I think was a win with my opponent only clearing one zone. I believe he was also about 800k lifetime banners. Bojan also similar lifetime banners, and he also was only able to clear one zone of mine, and I one-shot his board for 2675. And my final opponent this round is Newmania, who is from the guild. Let me go back and show you. Newmania is from the guild Way of the Mandalore, and Newmania is actually a viewer of mine. He said that he was subscribed to me for quite a while, so one of my oldest viewers, and it's got decent lifetime banners, 800k. And I went and checked his Galactic War battles to see how many he's played, and his he's actually got like I've got about 20,000, he's got about 23,000, something like that, which means that he's been playing longer than me, which is pretty rare because the people that I get matched up with are folks who have played less than me and who have accelerated their GL farms and don't have as much depth in rosters. So Newmania definitely has been playing a few months more than me, not too much, but is one of those players, long time players who has that depth and has got decent mods and has got really, someone who's been around so long has got a good knowledge of the game as well. So definitely a good finals. So it's definitely looking forward to this. And check this out. If you go into his, yeah, he's got about 1,500 in Kaiba before, but look at his inventory and the number of GLs that he has. So he's got all 5 GLs to my 4 GL. So he's got the GL advantage, but I've got the mod advantage. I mean, I've invested a lot of time and effort in my mods, and in the breadth of my characters. So that will show in the battles as you'll see. But he definitely has the GL advantage. So I had to. He's the first person I'm facing who's got. I think all 5 GLs and CAT, even though he doesn't have the ultimate on Kenobi yet, but he does have CAT relicked up as well. So I'll have to think about a contingency plan for offense and defense with an opponent like this. You can see his galactic power also is very similar to mine, 7.3, 7.2 to 3, which is also interesting to see. So that's my opponent, Newmania. I initially wasn't planning to do commentary for this video as well, given that I was just back from vacation. But thought I'll just since Newmania is a viewer and he watches a lot of my videos, I thought I'll go ahead and record some commentary for him as well, just to see how his defense performed, because I think those kind of things are very useful to see, and if you get some insight from commentary, it'll help him in his future 5v5 game as well. So I decided to not keep any of my GLs on defense, because in case Numena decided to change it up and go heavy on defense, I would be left high and dry because he's got the GL advantage. So I decided to keep all my 5 GLs on offense, but at the same time keep a uniformly tough defense. So these are the 3 teams that I usually like to keep in the front zone for 5v5. So CLS, GAS, and DR. And looking at the history for Newmania, I saw that he usually likes to take GLs against these. So it's always a good bet to keep to try to draw out the GLs in the front zone. Um, and at the back, um, I decided to keep just some trash, some leftover Padme, Finn with the Resistance heroes, fast Finn, about 330 Resistance hero Finn, and then Django under Dooku. So it's not really easy teams that can be taken out by something cheap for 60. These are banner stripping teams and require something serious to remain behind. But I was hoping that he would have exhausted a lot getting through to this zone. And so that's the back zone. And at the top, I have again, other stuff which can get tricky. I've got my Treya under Maul with the the non-Sith over there is Nest. which can get a little tricky to take out since Nest will be out in the open. And at least it's a banner stripping team. And then you have JTR with the Wets, and then you have Newt and the GG, and then the first order squad. I typically keep Kylo Ren unmasked lead, but here I decided to keep Huxley just because of the damage boost and the counter chance. It can catch people off guard at times, so that's what I decided to keep over there. Um, and at the back for ships, I decided to keep both my get to ships on defense with only spy reinforcement for malevolence and only Plo and Consular as the reinforcement um, for a negotiator, just to enforce that Plo comes in first. Um, so on the ships, I've seen that my opponent usually keeps a very consistent lineup for ships. There's not much variability there, which is why I thought, I should be able to. He never keeps us get two ships on defense, which is why I thought I might be able to get away with this as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at what my opponent has set for me. It is a pretty predictable defense. Looking at his history, this is what he usually sets. There's a Django team with Nest usually. There's GG squad, typically without Newt. And then there's a Mon Mothma squad and Sidious lead. Maul lead, especially since the Maul has got the Zeta, might have been a little trickier with allowing them to go first. Even Dooku lead, I think, might be better. Sidious lead is really not that beneficial. That 50% damage boost that they get, it's okay, but it's nothing. If you can control the team, it's nothing that'll really be threatening. So I would consider shifting from Sidious lead to Maul lead or Dooku lead. But red is a good idea in a non first order squad as well, in a Sith squad like that, Red Trooper. And then down here he's got his own Kenobi. I mean, there's no ultimate, but he's kept a B Galactic Republic squad over here with Mace, Qui-Gon, and a couple of clones. And then he's got Darth Revan and CLS. So let's go ahead and take care of the DR first. And I use my own troopers over there for the DR squad. This is something that I've done quite a lot, and I've had good success with not letting the team go and finishing with 60 banners. It gets a little tricky if Sith Marauder is in there, and this one was a R7 Sith Marauder, so it takes a little bit of time to get down. But I want to get rid of him early because I don't want him to take a turn, because he gets turn meter when we attack out of turn. Next on the chopping block is HK, just because he has that Zeta, which gives him which prevents turn meter gain on enemies if they have bonus protection. So at this stage, I've taken out Basti. Only Revan and Malik are left, and all my team is almost at full turn meter. So I'm in a good position at this stage. I think that I can probably get away with another 60 banners. But check this out. What happens over here? I decide to do um, the bonus protection, the step up by range, and get the bonus protection. And then, for some reason, my team stopped gaining turn meter, and Revan took a turn first, and things started going really, really south. So you can see over here, a couple of my guys are feared. I've lost Veers, and these guys are are really mowing me down. But I luckily got a turn with Dark Trooper, and I managed to take care of DR, so that I thought at least it'll be an easier cleanup. Um, and then very close to taking out Malik, and luckily my Dark Trooper got a turn again, and I was able to take out Malik. So horrible banners, only 50 banners when I should have gotten 60, especially with the way it started off and me one-shotting the first three characters. But I was wondering what was happening over there, why my team was not gaining as much turn meter as it should have, because with each Emperor's trap they get that's a buff, and that they should be gaining turn meter. And I started wondering if, just like how, Ahsoka has got that bug, Cat has got that bug that her unique remains around after Rey after she's been dead on a Rey team. Or, Barris used to have that bug last year as well, where a unique persisted after death. I was wondering if something similar was happening with HK as well, where his unique was persisting after death and preventing turn meter from my team. But yeah, I mean, no really good way to test for that. But I think I'm going to be a little more careful about using the bonus protection up ability from my troopers if HK is on that team, even after he's dead. It's just a precaution that I think I'm going to take, and I would recommend. Until there's a way to prove that it goes away with HK death, I would just be a little extra cautious on that. There's just no way to trust CG coding. All right, so I was luckily able to one-shot it, even though it was a less banners, but I didn't have to waste anything good on a cleanup. Then I decided to go undersized since it's a B Kenobi squad and it doesn't have the ultimate. I decided to go under squad with a couple of my other Jedi. I really didn't have a use for Snips and GK anywhere else, given that my own Padme was on defense. So I decided to throw them in there, and then I went with Ayla as the other Jedi. I wanted to save my cat, save my Cam, all those other good characters, all my good Galactic Republic characters, because they can go really well with other squads. I mean, Cat can go well with Rey, and Cam can go well with Jedi Master Luke as well. So this one is a pretty simple battle. There's really nothing much to do. I mean, we do a tougher version of this in the mirror and arena every single day. So non-ultimate Kenobi with um, with B Galactic Republic is really not much of an issue. If I had my gas on offense, I would have probably taken that against this, or even a Padme squad. Those would have done just fine over here. But I just decided to use this because I knew that my opponent keeps a couple of GLs on defense. Typically, there's a Ray either in the front or the back or SLKR. Now that he's got Kenobi, Newmania usually tends to keep Kenobi with this squad, and I was expecting to see a Ray or SLKR at the back as well. So I wanted to save a couple of my other GLs for the back, so I could afford to take care of his Kenobi with the B version of my own Kenobi. So this is one battle which typically ends with full health and full protection. Ayla is one Jedi which does really well in assist-based squads like these. She does really well under JKR and JML, who are also assist-based because she. I don't have a model for speed. There's tons of critical chance on her because every time she crits, she stuns the enemy. So that's something which is really good about Ayla is if you put her in a team like that, which doesn't really require speed, which requires tons of assisting, you can do a pretty decent job over there with her. So you can see over here, I'm almost at the end of the battle. Still 3 minutes left, and I've got plenty of time to recover full health and full protection. Um, Give that to my Kenobi, and there you go. Almost taken this guy out. And over here, I think I decide to use my ultimate, I think, even though it's not at full charge, just so that I can, yeah, this is where I think I decide to use the ultimate. Yeah, there we go. Just to top everyone up and finish the enemy Kenobi out. So there we go, 61 banners. Which is why I think Kenobi on defense is probably not a good idea because if your opponent has got a Kenobi, they can probably mirror it. But I think Newmania probably felt that I might be keeping my own Kenobi on defense since I've got Ultimate Kenobi with Cat, so he was prepared for that. And then over here, this is what I like to take against Commander Luke if I'm trying to save a GL. Darth Revan works great over here as well, but I like Old Ben and JKL over here. Old Ben gets a turn meter every time any Jedi or rebels get attacked, which is why the initial Han stun gives him turn meter and allows me to reduce the enemy turn meter and allows Luke to go and stun at least two or three of these characters. So first order of business, take Chewbacca out, then work on 3PO and Chewie. And this was a mistake. I shouldn't have taunted that. I've got buff immunity. I don't know what I was thinking. But this battle is pretty much under control. They'll try to take out Jolie first because he's the one who can revive. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, Jolie is pretty tanky, so he should be able to he should be able to survive the hits. So I'm doing okay so far. Um, and they go after my Ezra and almost take him out, but I luckily get Heroes Arise again, and now with this I should be able to take them out. So Ezra was just in there as to act as an extra Jedi. I mean, if he gets hit, then Jolie can revive him, and Old Ben gets turn meter anyway. So that is the main reason. So you see over here at the back, he's got his Ray as I expected. He's got Bad Batch as well, low gear. So we should be able to do something simple against that. Let's go and take out the other squads, and then we can see what to take down south. Now, Mon Mothma, I love to. I mean, you can use Mon Mothma against so many teams, and I typically like to use the Mon Mothma in mirrors just because I don't want to spend something expensive against Mon Mothma. You can take Vader against it, but it's too Vader, in my opinion, is too expensive for Mon Mothma, and you don't want them to get out of control. So you either take Vader or something that can, like Bounty Hunter, something that can prevent revives. Um, or anything with Watt really. If you have Watt Wampa, you can use that. Mod Mothma, since I don't keep her on defense because it can be taken out pretty cheaply. But I love to keep Mon Mothma on offense just to mirror because like to run the TM version of Mon Mothma, and I love not being able to give the enemy a turn at all. And Mon Mothma is great at doing that. Mon Mothma squads, Aura squads, Troopers, all these are great squads that you can afford to have low relics, low gear at, just because they are a control squad. They're not a damage squad. So they basically control the enemy team and don't let them take a turn and finish them off before that. So those kind of squads, control kind of squads, are squads that you can afford to take to keep low geared as long as a few key characters are at good speed. So like Grief and Bosk, they need to be high speed. The rest, doesn't matter. My Mando, for example, is G12. Here, Kara is G13 and at 311 speed. The rest of the characters are at, my Pow, for example, is G10, I think. Biston is G12. The others are, I think, G12 or G11. But Kara is the one who's really fast. So in control teams, you need to have one or two key characters really, really fast, and that's more than enough. And you can afford to, and you can get away with other characters being lower level. Similarly, in Bad Batch, if you have your Echo geared up and relicked up and really, really fast, the others can be relatively low gear. That allows you to control the team pretty well as well. Troopers as well. Most of my troopers are G11 or G12, but I've got Piet at G13, R0, but G13, and really, really fast at 340, I think. With Veer's lead, it becomes 360 and allows me to outspeed any Darth Revan squad. And my Stark, even though my Stark is at 265, with the 20% of that comes from the buffs that Piet gives, he gets the 265 becomes 285 after Veer's lead, and with the 20% turn meter gain that we get with the Piet going first, he gives offense up and Emperor's Trap, so that's two buffs, 20% turn meter. The 265 effectively becomes about 350 or so. So I can get away with a G11 Stark at 265 speed, just because I have a fast Piet to be able to boost my Stark up to 350 speed effectively and outspeed any Darth Revan squad. So that's how you should think about control squads. Now let's go ahead and take out the next squad. I think I've got tons of offense, so it's really not much of an issue. I use my Bad Batch against the Grievous squad. I've got an Omega in there. She's low geared, like G9, I think. But she does the job. I mean, she she starts Wrecker off with Furious, which means I can use his defense up ability first to act as a second AoE stun. in case any of the enemies haven't been stunned. And the defense up also then, if you get the defense out earlier, the defense up out earlier, you can every time that these guys start using any of the abilities, they do an AOE, true damage to all the characters, which is great, especially with B1 in there. He loses a lot of stack anytime anyone uses any ability. And with all the characters stunned and dazed, it's a really great control team. In the last time I used this, my I was able to end with 60 banners. I did save my Omega, but in this case, you can see that there are a couple of characters really close to death, and Omega died, and I was only able to end with 57 banners over here, I think. So if you've got a G9 Omega, that's a disadvantage, but it's a guaranteed 57, at least 57 to 60, because Omega, even if she dies and gives you 3 banners less, at least she guarantees a first shot victory, because you get so many benefits to start with. I mean, Tech gets the extra 2 speed bump. Wrecker starts with Furious and can get defense up early. There are tons of benefits to having Omega in there, even if she dies early. There have been cases I've seen some people fail with just a 4 bad batch against Grievous if they're not able to get the enemy down. So I would rather be, assured of a one shot than take a chance and at a 61. All right, now let's go after the Ray squad, and I decided to mirror my own Ray, and I decided to take my cat in there. For Ray mirrors, I love using my scoundrels. Typically, I take in Stormtrooper Han or Vandor because they're great with IG-11, Quill, and Beskar Mando with Ray in there. They almost always give me 60 banners. But over here, since I had Cat to spare, I decided to take Cat in and see what she could do. I mean, this is a great team to keep on defense, actually. A lot of people have been keeping this very team on defense and doing pretty well with Ray. And I have a feeling that, this particular team might end up being a staple on defense in 5v5s going forward. Right now, there's that bug, that's a suspected bug that, Cat's unique, which is 50% damage boost and health and all of that good stuff. It remains behind. It persists after she dies, which is what makes Ray really dangerous for C counters, especially. Even JML counters, because her ultimate hits were so hard, and JML ends up gaining so much turn meter. So that's why until that bug is fixed, Ray is going to be OP with Cat in there. But over here, you can see, I think that the solution, in my opinion, to Ray in the future, especially once the fixes come in, with the proposed changes that CG has come in, with nerfing Vader and Thrawn and all of that, it's going to make Rey really powerful on defense because there are going to be very few counters to her. Even GL counters are going to end with less banners. The solution to that, in my opinion, is going to be Rey mirrors, because even if Ray ends up, even if Cat is in there and Ray ends up getting tons of health and offense, and even if the offense persists after Cat's death, the best way to take care of that is Bando in there with damage immunity, for example, and a Ray mirror. So Ray mirror, I think, is the way to go in the future to ensure full health and full protection. You don't even need your own cat in there, because all of the damage that is being done is through Whirlwind and through the ultimate. As long as you're able to time your Ray's ultimates properly, even if they have cat in there, even if they have 50% extra offense, they're not going to do any damage to your team at all. If you're in your own Ray ultimate at the time that Ray comes out of her ultimate. So you need to be able to time your own ultimates properly. Make sure that when you go into ultimate only after the enemy Ray is more than 30 to 40% at turn meter. So you ensure that you don't outlap her. And as long as you do that, you can ensure that you end with you are in ultimate when she's doing her ultimates or whirlwinds. And there you go, 414k ultimate, and I've taken out the enemy Ray for 60 banners. So I think even if Cat wasn't there, I think that was a guaranteed 60. And I think going forward, if you suspect that your enemy is going to keep Ray on defense, I think Ray mirrors are probably going to be the way to go if you want to end with decent banners. I don't see SLKR or JML or C ending with decent banners against Ray going forward. C used to be decent banners, but with the changes, he's going to be gaining turn meter, and that's going to bump up Ray's mastery. And especially if Cat is in there or JTR is in there, that might make C a little bit dicey against Ray going forward. The only two teams I think are going to do well against Ray. Once the changes come in, are going to be Mirror Ray and is going to be JMK, obviously. If Cat is in there, you'll probably end with 57 with JMK, which is why I think Ray mirrors are going to be the best option. Ray mirrors also probably might end you with 57 if Cat is in there because you won't be able to prevent the revive. Um, Unless you have Vandor in there, actually. Yeah, I didn't think about that. If you have Vandor in your team and he's prepared, then if your tank gets taken out by enemy cat, then you can get him revived. So yeah, that's something to think about. Anyway, so this one I decided to take SLKR against the enemy Bad Batch team. It's a very weak team, and I wanted to complete that feat with Thrawn and Ahsoka Fulcrum in there. I didn't really need First Order Officer. Those three would have been more than enough, but wanted a sure thing because you never really can say with Bad Batch. All right, then what else do I decide to do over here? Um, I think the next battle that I do is, yeah, I decided to take my own. I think the toughest squad left is the Django squad because he was a R7 Django. It can do decent damage, so I wanted to take a GL against that. There's Nest in there as well, but not much problem for. I've got two heavy damage dealers, GMY as well as Cam, so this is really not much of a problem. The team gets taken out pretty easily. I could have probably undersized it with three Jedi as well, but I wanted Shark in there for an extra heal in case that was needed. So not much of a battle. This one is a pretty straightforward battle. I think I lost a little bit of protection on Grandmaster Yoda. But so I end with 60 banners instead of 61. All right, let's see what else I want to take out next. I think next I decide to go for the Sidious squad because I want to see what ships are there at the back, and I decide to take my own Vader in there. Because Vader can get around stealth in case these guys go into stealth, and he can go around taunt to take out Red Trooper first since he's the main danger over here. So that's what I decided to go. I go around the board. I enter Merciless first. I go around the board and take these guys out one by one. And decide to use my Merciless on Sith Trooper to get rid of him first. Go around to Maul and do the Force Crush on Dooku. And then, since Sidious was at full health, he gets turn meter when people die. So he was at 100% turn meter. So I decided to take him out. And then a little bit of protection lost on Show Trooper. I didn't have the time to give the tank tech to him. So I ended up with 59, which is okay. All right, let's see which is the squad I take in next. I think I go with Bounty Hunters versus Sisters, and this one wasn't a really highly relic Sisters squad. I think most of them were G12, with the exception of Asajj, who's G13. But I decide to go after the weakest to get the contract out, which in this case was the Sister, the Spirit. Do an ability block to prevent the plague from going out. Couldn't get the ability block on Talzin, which was unfortunate. So Daka's doing her stuns and stuff, and I'm slowly working towards my contract. Yeah, these stuns are never a good thing, especially if they land on Grief, who's your only cleanser. But these I wasn't really worried because these guys are not that relicked up. I mean, if they were relicked, then Cad would be dead by now. Um, but you can see over here, I do an AoE at this stage because almost all of my characters have got plague. Do an AoE to heal them up a little bit. Um, and all the sisters are back, and my Mando is having a tough time, and there he got killed. So even though I've got my contract, I don't have any buffs on me, the relevant buffs required to annihilate anyone, which was unfortunate. But and I'm close to losing CAD as well. But that's the good thing about this team. They've got plenty of heals, tons and tons of heals. So that's what I do over here. I decide to take out Mother Talzin because I don't want any more plague, and then execute Spirit as well. So those two can't be revived anymore. Now I just have to. Now the battle is very much under control. It still can be stunned by Daka, but I decide to skirt around the sisters until I have a more permanent death ready because I don't zombies' deaths are not yet exhausted. So I want to make sure that I kill I kill the sisters with something which is permanent, like the rocket, for example. So uh, everyone is dead except zombies, so pretty easy to end with full health and full protection at this stage. So that was the Night Sister battle. I think all the whole character zone is done. Now it's just a couple of ships left, and then we are done. So I decided to do a Rebel mirror, and Rebel mirrors are usually a sure thing, especially if you've got a good Biston and the enemy either has a worse Biston or doesn't keep their Biston. So go undersized over here with just Cassian and Wyving. Wyving as an extra tank in the backup in case my Bix gets taken out. And Cassian is a great finisher ship just because he allows you to target down and take out those random ships which are left towards the end. So I always go after the Wyving first because I don't want him to get that buff out or that debuff out, which strips me of a protection. So as long as you land a target lock, you're usually assured to go first. And if you have a faster home one, you can you can typically take Biggs out before he even gets to move. Here, there was a little bit of health left on Biggs, but I was able to take him out in this turn. And now I can get my own reinforcement. I decided to get in the Cassian to finish it off and end with pretty decent banners. I think I ended with 66 over here because there was a little bit of protection missing on Biggs. Now against the Thrawn fleet, there is no bomber in there. There is an Emperor's shuttle in the starting lineup. And there's no guard ship as well, which can be a little problematic. So I decided to go in with my own Empire as a mirror. I did have my own Radis as well, or my First Order. Both those ships also do fine against Empire, but I just like Tarkin versus Thrawn just because of the extra offense boost and the TM boost that these guys get. And let's see, which ships did I go with? I don't think I went with. I think I went with TIE Fighter and TIE Bomber, and I think I took in one other Empire fleet, which is Guard Saxon, I think. Yeah, I probably didn't need Bomber in there because I was starting with TIE Fighter, but that's fine. So in this case, um, my fighter goes first. I put the tenacity up and start attacking the bomber because I want to get him down. And Vader attacked my TIE fighter and almost got him down. But he did get foresight up, and I think Thrawn's AoE ability did give my team some turn meter just because of that evasion. So now I get Emperor Shuttle out, and I heal up my TIE fighter because I don't want him to die. Um, Now I can probably take out Vader right over there, so no more damage from the enemy. Now I need to take out the TIE bomber as soon as I can. That's the most problematic ship over here. A little bit of turn meter on everyone, and there we go. TIE bomber is down. Now I just need to take down the Palp ship. and then we should be good. He's got retribution, but we should take him down shortly. There, I think that takes him down. And then just a Maul ship is left. And get in the Gauntlet Starfighter to cleanse some of those debuffs and recover some health and protection. Um, and then it's an easy enough battle. But I want to make sure that I go before Thrawn's ultimate, because I end up losing a ship and 3 banners because of that. So if you want to preserve your banners, you need to take the enemy ship out before Thrawn does his ultimate. So I heal up a few ships over here. I think I heal up my Vader a little bit. That AoE takes care of that ship, and very close to ultimate from Thrawn, but luckily my ships go first and I was able to take them out before the ultimate and save 3 banners. So 63 banners over there. So ended with a total of 2659, which is pretty decent. My opponent, I think, needed 58 banners, 58 to 59 banners on average, I think, with a 60 or something on ships. So this is the final result. My opponent did go and was only able to clear a couple of zones, struggled a little bit on my CLS and gas. I think I was chatting with Newmania briefly, and he mentioned that he thought that I would keep my JK, my Jedi Master Kenobi at the back. So he was saving, since he didn't have his own Jedi Master Kenobi on offense, he was saving his JML with gas and JKR and JKL on offense for that. So he was avoiding using those teams in the front, which really handicapped him. And he was, and I think he struggled a little bit on the teams in the front because of that, because he was saving that team for the back. Wasn't able to clear the gas, a couple of battles on CLS. And at the top, one shot most of my board, with the exception of, I believe, um, my first order squad, where Hux got me 3 holes. So that was good to see. So in the future, I might consider putting Hux on defense rather than crew, or Hux lead on defense rather than crew. So that was everything else was one shot. And then for ships, he was able to one-shot my ships as well, no problem at all, since he had both his get 2 ships on defense. But the ships got 55 and 59 banners, I think. So they did their job in terms of banner efficiency. Because I got a 10 banner advantage even on ships as well, 10 to 15 banner advantage by keeping the get 2 ships on defense. So that's the end of the battle with Newmania. All the best to you, Newmania. Hope you do well in your future GACs. Hope we meet again. But as for the season, I think I ended the season pretty well with undefeated run, 12 and 0. And at the time that I took the snapshot, I collected all my feats. I was at 34. Right now, I think I'm at 38 in Div 2, which I think is my highest finish so far in Div 2. Like previously, I finished 47 rank in Div 1, but this one I think I was pretty pleased with the season, not just because of the rank that I got, 38, but because it was a pretty tough season with pretty tough opponents. I counted, I think there was about 7 to 8 opponents of mine who were 800k lifetime banners and above. About 8 opponents out of the 12 opponents that I faced were 800k lifetime and above, and most of them had JMK and CAT. So it was a pretty a rough set of opponents that I had to get through, and I was and I think I had a full clear in almost every single one of my battles, which was a good outcome. So full clear, 12 and 0. I'm pretty happy with this particular season. Let's see how we do in 3v3 with the JMK and CAT in there. We've got a week of a break, so I've got a little bit of time to remod and rethink about how we want to approach 3v3 with JMK and CAT. I might make a video giving my thoughts on maybe the changes or maybe my approach to 3v3. So during the off week, I might just make a quick video to give some of my thoughts. So keep a watch out for that. All right, that's about it for me from this season. Hope you guys had a good season as well. Looking forward to chatting with you guys next week when we are back with the next season. Until then, take care and happy gaming.